Alright, so this is going to go at the start of the video. I actually just finished recording the initial whole rest of the video, but I'm not sure how well I clarified it, that this is my 3 months of learning Japanese, 1 month of Refold. And yeah, that's that. I think I got most of my thoughts out in this video. Not sure how coherent I was, but yeah, that's it. Alright, this video is going to be me talking about my Japanese learning journey up until this point. I've been procrastinating making this video for a bit, but here it is. I'm going to be reading off of bullet points on my second monitor, so I hope I don't sound too robotic. And it's kind of awkward talking to just like a camera. So yeah, let's see how it goes. Alright, so my journey started... Okay, well, I'm gonna preface this first. This is probably like a 3-month mark. I've been studying for about 3 months, I'd say, up until this point. But there's a bit of a caveat on that, which I'm gonna talk about now. I started learning Japanese using Duolingo back in July of this year. But I did that for about 2 months, and I'd say it was really nothing substantial. It's like what I learned in that month was what just like any weeaboo would know just from like watching anime constantly. You just know like a couple of words, that's it, not much grammar. But I'd say with Duolingo, it kind of hindered my progress, but it was a good way to get into it, I'd say. And it was kind of tough to wean myself off it when I finally realized this was not helping, because it's got that streak shit. It kind of keeps you into it. But anyways, I'd say my Japanese journey really started on August 1st. That is when I discovered like Anki and a bit of like Matt vs Japan and kind of like the whole AJAT theory, I guess. But the main reason I started learning Japanese was because well, there was a point where I've always wanted to learn Japanese or just a second language in general, but I could never get myself to do it or have a good enough reason for myself to do it. But I realized that the university I'm going to offers Japanese courses, and so they qualified Japanese as an art credit, which I need, so now I'm taking Japanese. So I've been taking a Japanese class up until this point for this semester. So I worked through almost all of Genki 1, so that's that. But more recently, like a little under a month ago, is when I fully discovered Refold, I would say, and started sort of following the method of Refold. But when I first discovered it, I was not too diligent in following it, so I've been constantly revising my methods up until this point. But that's not an issue. So for my study plan, as for vocabulary, I just finished the Step 1 Core 2K deck on Anki, and in retrospect, I kind of feel like it wasted a lot of my time, because for each word, it would have like 3 new cards. Each word would be like 3 new cards, so it was a ton of unnecessary reviews. So I was doing 10 cards a day for the most part, and just like a whole whackload of garbage reviews. But I got through it. You know, I learned, definitely. And so just as of 2 days ago, I moved on to a different Core 2K deck. It's a different one on just like the shared decks, pre-made decks on Anki. I guess I'll put that in the description just to show for it. And I'm planning on doing 12 new cards of that. And so since it's like the whole 2K, it's not like the Step 1, Step 2 deck. It has like 1,000 of the, or I guess half of it is words from the Step 1 part, right? So just whenever they come up, I'll be removing those. So it's basically like I'm just doing the second half of the Step 2. Uh, I've heard about the Tango decks, like the N5, N3, N4 Tango decks. I'm not sure if those are something I should consider working through, but yeah. And now that I'm at the 3-month mark, sentence mining is something I'm considering. It seems a little intimidating, but I don't know. I'm planning on figuring it out. I'll talk about it later. As for grammar, like I've already said, my class, we work through the Genki 1 book, and so that's most of my grammar understanding up until now. And what else? Yeah, that's that. And I've been reading through Take Him's Grammar Guide as like a supplement to that, but as my classes, I don't plan on taking like more Japanese classes after this. So, you know, I'll be using mainly Take Him's Grammar Guide to as like my main grammar resource. That's my plan going forward. I haven't been reading it recently, actually, but you know, like I said, I'm gonna start using that as my main resource soon enough. Okay, kanji. So, when I first started Refold back in October 20th, I picked up like a kanji deck. Cause I wasn't too diligent on reading about like the methods and like exactly how you should go about everything. So, I didn't know about RTK. Well, I knew about RTK and RRTK, but I really wasn't sure exactly what to do. So I picked up a deck, which I think it's basically just like based off the RTK method, and yeah, I've been doing that since October 20th. I was doing 10 cards a day of it, but I realized recently that that was only 3 to 4 new kanji a day. And reading more about like the Refold method on learning kanji is that I was wasting a lot of time because you need to be learning a lot more kanji than that. At least that's my perception of it now. And so, because I realized the deck, it was doing for each new kanji, there's 3 new cards. So there was like a production, a memorize, and a recognition. And the production was just like drawing the kanji, and I realize now that that's a big waste of my time. So I've completely removed all those cards. And the memorize cards, it's just like picking the correct kanji out of like a selection of other, like a multiple choice question. I'm probably gonna remove all those too. I'm not sure yet, but that's just a thought. So now that I've kind of revised that, I'm doing 20 new cards a day, so that's 10 new kanji, and I'll see how that is going forward. Yeah, so progress with kanji should be much faster now. Kind of wish I knew this earlier because I could be a lot further along, but you know, it's no use thinking about that. So as for immersion, I'm kind of being a bitch about it. I'm always procrastinating immersing, which is, you know, the whole point of art Refold, so I gotta get over that. I'd say I'm kind of on a bad sleep schedule right now. You know, I'm doing a lot of my immersing late in the day when I'm pretty tired, which is definitely not good for, you know, really getting into your brain. As you can see, it's outside my window. It's nighttime. It's like 2 a.m. right now, so go figure. Yeah, so I'm gonna try and square away my sleep schedule so I can actually, you know, live like a normal person and immerse properly the amounts that I need to, and you know, just make it more worthwhile. So as for reading, I've been using easyjapanese.net or Today, whatever it's called. It has like another nickname that they don't really use, but that's just like Japanese news articles, and then it has like translations and such. And I'm only just getting into reading now, so I'm not really sure. Well, I'm pretty sure it's better to read without furigana outside of manga, I presume. I assume. So I've just been trying to read with using that app website for about like 40 minutes to an hour a day. And I think that's been helpful. I've definitely gotten better at reading kanji and recognizing kanji in words that I don't know. Like if there's a word I don't know, I'll try to read the kanji that I can see in the word, but I'm not really focused on like the translation of the word unless it's like anything below like an N3, because it shows that on the app, which is pretty helpful. Like if it's a N3, N2, N1 word, I'm just loosely following that. But at this stage, I probably should be reading not just news, you know, because news is like a specific way of Japanese being inputted. So I'm not sure if like manga or like light novels are good at this stage in my Japanese. Because, you know, 3 months for me is 3 months differently for another person. Like, they could be further along or further behind than me. So, you know, I gotta do some more research on that, see what works for me. Try to start actually reading some stuff. As for listening, listening through shows, right? Like, I've only watched, I'd say, 4 shows up to this point, as for like a month of Refold. But, you know, it's hard for me because I don't like watching shows anyways. I don't watch movies. I don't watch anything on Netflix. So, you know, I'm kind of having to force myself to enjoy that, which is a little bit tough. But, you know, it's part of the process and it's completely essential to it. So, you know, I got to get better at it. Yeah, I'll procrastinate anything, especially that. Like trying to sit down and watch a show when comprehension is low. Like when I watch a show, I can understand some things. Like I can hear a lot of words, but you know, piecing together a sentence, especially at like a conversational pace, my brain doesn't work that fast yet when hearing Japanese. So having to like sit down for like 25 minutes to half an hour at a time to like watch an episode of like an anime or a drama or whatever, it's pretty annoying. It's a little bit frustrating, and I really have to force myself to get through it. And you know, the whole Refold thing is that it just kind of like eventually works into your brain that if you just sit there and try to understand as hard as you can for, you know, over a long period of time, you know, it'll eventually just work its way into your brain. You'll pick up the patterns. But it's definitely a little bit frustrating to try and just accept that and just sit there and listen, because you know, yeah, whatever. This is gonna be another little insert, just regarding my immersion. That I have been tracking hours, for like hours read, hours active listening, passive listening, and like amount of words read and such, using this spreadsheet I found in the Refold community. I'm probably gonna stop tracking passive listening because it seems kind of hard to gauge and also a bit arbitrary, because you know that's just what you're doing all the time. But I'll continue to track like time spent in Anki, active listening, time spent reading, sentences added and such, because I think that'll be helpful. Yep. Plans for the future. Coming into like the 6-month mark of me learning Japanese, I definitely want to figure out sentence mining more. That's something I don't know if I should already know how to do that or how useful it is, but you know, come the 6-month mark when I am done with like the core 2K, you know, I want to be fully into sentence mining and, you know, picking out sentence mining from Immersion and be completely comfortable with that. But you know, I don't have too many more thoughts for the future other than that, because I've been revising how I've been studying a lot recently, and I've just been kind of having a lot of realizations that what I've been doing recently could have been better, and you know, now I'm on a better track. But that's that. Some worries, and well, this section is like some worries and thoughts about my Japanese up to this point, my Japanese learning. I contemplate why I'm studying Japanese a lot. Uh, before I started learning, I did always have a fascination for the Japanese language. I've had for years now, I've had a big fascination with languages in general. Like I love just like kind of studying, not studying, but just like I like watching videos about languages. Languages are a big fascination for me. So, as for Japanese media in particular, I was never too into Japanese media, you know. So definitely I wouldn't have it as easy as if like a weeb who's like getting into learning Japanese and he's just like so obsessed with Japanese, everything Japanese, So that's that. But as to why I'm considering like I am learning Japanese, I have a lot of uh confusing thoughts about it. Like why do I do this like very trivial thing of learning a language? Because uh I forget who said this, but like a language is not an end in itself, it's a means to an ends, which is to talk in Japanese. It's more obvious than you'd think. But it's kind of tough to express my emotions and thoughts about it fully and, fluently in a very coherent way because it's a very personal kind of confusing thing. Yeah, whatever. But I do get those feelings like I should just quit. This is a very weird thing for a person to do when I could just be doing something more productive. But ultimately, I do want to and I plan to continue studying Japanese because I've always had a not maybe a dream, I guess a dream of being able to speak multiple languages. I've always had such a fascination with that, and that's where I want to get to. And I want to learn not just Japanese, but I want to learn other languages in the future. But yeah, you know, uh, one thing to note is before I started learning Japanese, I actually no, I don't want to talk about that. But yeah, I've wanted to learn Japanese for years now, and I finally came around to it in the summer because my college was offering it, and I needed it for an art credit, so it kind of worked out. But yeah, uh, one other thought or concern that I have about studying Japanese is if I'm studying the right way, or if I'm studying in a proper way. Because Refold is a lot about trusting the method, but I feel like there's a lot of bit of uncertainty into if I'm studying the right thing and using the right resources. Because it's not like a Japanese class where I'm in where we're all moving at the same pace. But that's don't really have my thoughts together right now. A little bit of concern about if I'm studying the proper way. I guess I'm a bit of I concern myself too much with like optimization. If like there's a slightly better way to do something. Which is weird to say because, I've kind of unoptimally been studying kanji and I'd say vocab for a bit, for almost a couple months now. But it's good to concern myself with that to a degree, so I can always, think that there is a better way, and usually I've found that there have been better ways to study. That's what's led me to this point of being in Refold, or following Refold. And so, that's a good thing, but it's always a bit frustrating when I get the feeling like sometimes maybe I could be doing it better, but whatever. As for a conclusion on my 3 months of studying Japanese, 1 month of Refold, I hope in the next 3 months I can see even more progress, just getting better and better every day. That's what it's all about, studying every day, make sure I'm doing Immersion, Anki every day, and just getting better. yeah, I plan to continue making these updates every so often. I'm assuming 3 months is what I'll do. So my next one should be sometime in February. See how that goes. Uh, Not much else to say. That's pretty much it. My cat's in the background there. It's my... Where is it? That's my cat. It's Charlie. Oh my god. Charlie. Yeah, there she is. Yeah, I'm not sure who's gonna watch this video, but if you do, thank you. Yeah, if you're someone who's also studying a language, or thinking about studying a language, good luck. Keep at it. Yeah. Alright, see ya.